Hi, boys and girls. Hey, welcome to our lesson today on how to find the percent of a quantity. We are on page 289 in your textbook. So if you want to shut this video off, take a moment and find this page. You're welcome to do so. Okay. It looks like this. I have the teacher's edition also pulled up for you today. So I'm going to be using Jamboard to do our lesson. So here we go. Finding the percent of a quantity is probably one of the best and biggest life lessons that we're going to be learning this year. Every time you go to a store, and let's say you want to buy something, even like go to Bath and Body Works and buy materials, or go to JCPenney and buy a new pair of pants, they might have 20% off or 30% off. So they'll have something off. And how do you know how much you're going to pay for that particular item? Well, you have to know how to find the percent of a quantity. So I'm going to start first of all today, and I'm going to take you through the way the book has us doing this work through pictures. We've also done the work with pictures with ST Math. Okay, so let's take a look here with our problem that we have on your page first of all. It says a typical family of 4 uses about 400 gallons of water each day. And 30% of this water is for outdoor activities, such as gardening. How many gallons of water does a typical family of 4 use each day for outdoor activities? So they're telling us that 30% is for outdoor activities. So I need to find out what 30% of 400 is. So let's start first of all with, I want to draw a picture for you. Okay. They have a picture here also. They have a number line that shows it by 10, the percent's going up by 10%. Remember, very, very important that you remember that 100% of something is all of something. So, oops, just go straight. That's 1 right there, 1 whole. And our whole in this case, oops, our whole in this case is 400. Okay, this is the whole. All right, so the way that the book is doing this by using ratio reasoning is they have broken this down by percents, by 10%. And we talk about that in ST Math, where if you've got a 0 at the end, you can break it down into 10%. 30% is right here, okay, straight down. This is 30% of this total. So how can I do this using a bar model? Well, I need to know what is going to go in each one of these boxes. Okay, so between each one of these percents on this double number line, kind of. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 boxes. So I need to take 400. Okay, 400. Give me just a second here. I'm going to take 400 and I'm going to divide that up by 10 because I have 10 boxes. So if I divide that up, I get 4, that's 40. That's nothing left, bring down the 0. Okay, I have empty place, I have to fill it in with a 0. That means that if I break this up into 10, 1 box is 40. So we're going to put a 40 in here. That's 1 box. That's 1 piece of 10. So what happens is, actually, if you want to do this correctly, you would end up putting 40 in every single box. They only do it for 3. Whoops, it's not so good, is it? Okay, 40, 40, and then 40 again. Each one of those is 40, some written very poorly. I apologize for that. But I want to know what is in the 30% area right here. So 10% is 40, but 30% is going to be 3 10%. So 30% is the same as 10 plus 10 plus 10. I want to make sure you're hearing that. 10% 3 times is 30%. That's how I get 40 3 times. So I'm going to take 40 and I'm going to take 40 times 3 and I get 120. So 30% is 120 of 400. All right, I want to draw this picture of a ratio for you really quickly because this is important that you understand that your part is on top and your whole is on the bottom, okay? Same thing here with percent. If I made this into a fraction and got rid of that percent sign, like this, these have to be equivalent fractions. If I take 30 times 4, oops, I get 120. If I take 100 times 4, I get 400. See, they're still equivalent. That's why this is a ratio. And that's why I'm teaching you how to do this with a picture. In a couple of lessons, when we get to 5, 6, we're going to be working a lot with pictures. So I want to make sure that you understand how you can do this using ratios. Percents are ratios. It's a ratio over 100, and I've gone over that several times with you guys. And I just want you to get that. So I'm erasing this information because I want to do this another way. Okay. This is the way that we do this mathematically. So I want you to look at the blue box that I just brought up. It says another way. It says change the form of a percent to a decimal, then multiply the decimal and the amount. Okay, so let's start first of all by changing the form of the percent. Now you can make this into a fraction if you want to, but I'm going to have you make this into a decimal. So 30% is the same as, move my decimal 2 places, 0.30. Okay, I'm going to leave the 0 in there. We move our decimal 2 places to the left to make it into a decimal. We've learned that in a couple of other lessons. So this is something that's really important. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the original amount, which is 400, and I'm going to, what's that say here? We're going to multiply the decimal and the original amount. So I have the amount of 400, and I'm going to take it times 0.3. I'm going to go ahead and leave the 0 in here. Do I have to use the 0 after the 3? The answer is no. You could just multiply this by 0.3. But I'll go ahead and leave it in so I don't confuse you, like where did the 0 go? Okay, so we have a row of zeros. Now I'm done with this one. I'm going to start with the second number. So I have to put in a second 0, or for a second row with a 0 for this place value, right here what the other 0 was. Okay, so now 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 4 is 12, sorry. I'm going to add these all up. Okay, and now I have to bring in my decimal. So I have 1, 2 places, so I come over 1, 2 places. And look, it's 120. It's the same amount. All right? Are you following me so far? Okay, so let's just go back here real quick. Let me erase this. I'm going to do a completely different problem. And I'm going to set it up like you're going to see it in your book today. So what if I'm going to find 15% of, let's say, 30. Okay, so let's use this blue way right here. I could draw a picture if I want to, but let's go ahead and just use the way that's in the blue box here, the other way. Okay, I'm going to change this into a decimal, which makes this 0.15. Then I'm going to take of means times 30. Okay, so let's do 30 on top, 15 on the bottom, dot, okay, 0, 15. Another 0, I'm going to run out of space, I apologize. 1 and then 3, I'm sorry, 0 and then 3. So I'll write it over here, 0, 5, and a 4. Okay? I'm going to move my decimal 1, 2 places. 1, 2. I have to put it between the 4 and the 5. So 15% of 30 is actually 4.5. You can have a decimal in your answer. Oh, that's not working. All right. So I want to make sure that you're hearing this. How do you find the percent of a quantity? Okay. You can draw a picture like we did here, or you can change it to a decimal, the percent to a decimal, and take it times the whole value, and that will give you your part. All right. Just really quickly, I want to move over to our lesson that's in the book because I don't want to ignore this problem because you're going to need it. Look on page, I am on page 290. I know you see the answers are right here. But let's read this problem about Charla. Now, I can't write on this particular one, so we're just going to have to follow what the book shows. Charla earns $4,000 a month. She spends $40 of her salary on rent and 15% of her salary on groceries. How much money does Charla have left for other expenses? Now, remember, you can add these percents together. The whole total, her 4,000 is 100%. So if I take 40 plus the 15%, I get a total of 55% is used on groceries and rent. So we want to know what the other part is. So to do that, we're going to follow step 2, which is to subtract the total percent from 100. So the whole total is 100 minus 55 is equal to 45. So 45 is the amount that we have to find. Okay, so their step 3 is they're going to change it to a fraction and then take it times 4,000. You can just change this into a decimal by making it 0.45 and then multiplying that by 4,000, and you'll get that same answer here of 1,800. Okay? All right. I know I went through that problem really fast, but I want you to understand that your total amount is the same thing as 100%. That is the key to really understanding percents. All right, boys and girls, thanks for your attention today. Happy math.